Hi, I'm Nikita.
And I'm Lina.
We're two best friends with endless curiosity and plenty to say.
Join us as we dive into everything and anything life throws our way.
From hilarious stories and pop culture hot takes to life lessons and deep dives, no topic is off limits. Whether you're looking for a laugh, a new perspective, or just some fun company, this podcast feels like a chat with your bestie.
Get ready for unfiltered conversations, lots of laughs, and a whole lot of heart.
This is Two Voices, One Vibe. Welcome back.
Two Voices,
One Vibe.
I'm Lina.
I'm Nikita.
And it's time for you to spend some time with us.
Because we're cool.
We're the bestest.
Bestest besties.
Bestest besties! I was going to say it too, but you beat me to it.
Yes, I did.
Yep. Yay! What are we talking about today, Bessie?
Ick.
Ooh, I have a lot of icks.
You have a lot of icks.
This is true.
Do you want to start with what's your biggest ick?
I don't know that I have a biggest ick. So, okay, let's get this right off the bat. There's a difference between pet peeves and icks.
Yes.
Right? So, to me, a pet peeve is just something that, like, you absolutely can't stand. It bothers you no matter who it is. To me, an ick is only when you're talking about somebody who you can possibly see as a romantic partner.
So it's person specific.
It's person specific, absolutely. So it's a pet peeve to me when any man drinks a White Claw.
Oh, I'm well aware of that.
So we know about this. That's any man. It doesn't matter if it's a man that I'm looking at as I'm like potentially interested in dating this man, or if it's just some random guy at the bar. I'd be like, wow, he's such a pussy. You know, like that's not okay. So that to me is a pet peeve, or like grammar in general. If you text me with bad grammar, I'm going to correct you with my grammar police app. Right. So pet peeve.
Yeah, but never mind. I'll let that one go.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say I don't feel like I've been grammar policed. I know.
No, I'm just using it in general.
No, I know, but I'm just thinking. My brain's in its own little world.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
So to me, an ick is when you're on a date or you're talking to somebody and all of a sudden something happens and you are immediately turned off and you're like, nope, I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. So it could be at the beginning of the date. It could be at the end of the date. It could be on the third date.
Yeah.
But something comes out. So it may not be something in general, like, you know, this is a pet peeve of mine. If this happens, I'm out. It might just be something that you see or something that happens and you're like, ugh, can't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my really weird ones, I met this guy and we had gone on a couple dates and we were on his boat and we were having a great time and, you know, we had a couple drinks and we went.
Was he drinking White Claws?
Floating. No, he was not drinking White Claws. So the ick did not come in yet. And we were, you know, like floating and tubing and just having a really good time. And when we got back on the boat and we were bringing the boat in, he had asked me to help him with the rope.
Okay.
So I grabbed the rope and when I threw it over to him and he grabbed the rope, I saw his fingernails. And they were too long. And I was done.
You're like, nope, done.
We had a great time. I was done. It was such an ick. And I was like, why does this man have long fingernails? They weren't longer than mine, but they were longer than they should be for a man. And I was not okay with that. Do you ever see those men that have like one pinky nail just long and the rest of them short?
That is disgusting.
The most disgusting thing ever. That's a pet peeve. That's fucking gross. I was going to try to hold myself back from cursing in that moment, but I couldn't do it. It's fucking gross. Yeah. But long fingernails on a man turned out to be an ick for me in that situation.
That's a massive ick in general.
Yeah. And then I know he was like doing stuff with the boat and whatever you do with boats, but then there was like dirt under his long fingernails, and then I was really grossed out. So that was definitely a big ick for me.
Yeah, I can see that being an ick.
Yeah.
An ick.
Yeah. What would be like an ick for you?
So.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh boy. There we go. I swear Nikita's only been drinking tea tonight. Just tea.
Red Zinger tea.
All right. Well, I can't put a zinger in you.
So. I feel terrible saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
We're not holding anything back. No topic is off limits.
No topic is
All
off
right,
limits.
let's do it.
So I cannot stand, and it drives me batshit crazy. And I didn't realize how much of an ick it was until after the fact.
That's why it's an ick.
Yeah. When somebody is What?
Shall remain unnamed.
Oh, yeah, no,
Okay.
I'm not going to name anybody.
Okay.
I wouldn't do that. I'm not that mean.
Okay.
But when you're being told a story, right? Mm-hmm. And the person keeps saying, or like, and you're just like, spit it out.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have all day.
Yeah.
Get it out, partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Turns you off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a good one.
So I have a pretty funny story.
Oh, I like funny stories.
So I was at work one day and I get a text message from my uncle. And the text message says he took a photo of me from social media and he shared it with his friends
Because that's not normal.
and asked if there was anybody that was interested in dating me.
Oh my God.
So I immediately didn't know, like, should I be embarrassed? Should I laugh? Should I be
Right.
depressed? What does that mean? And then he tells me one of his friends that he was interested and he wanted to know if I would be interested in going out with him. So I don't know that that was even the weirdest part of the story because it gets weirder. He goes on to tell me that this is his daughter, my cousin's ex-boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Totally weird, right?
Yeah.
So
And we weren't icked out at this?
this was really weird. I mean, the very first thing I did was I called my cousin and I was like, do you want to laugh? And she's like, are you going to make me laugh like I'm going to want to kill somebody or am I actually going to ha-ha laugh? And I'm like, no, I think you're going to ha-ha laugh. And she's like, hit me. So like, your dad sends me this text message and he's trying to set me up with your ex-boyfriend. And so she starts laughing and she's like, no, I totally bless this. She's like, I actually think you guys might hit it off.
Right.
I'm okay with this. She's like, we dated back in high school 20 plus years ago.
Okay.
She's married. She has child, the whole nine.
Childs.
Yes. So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. So we go out, and this was the first time that this happened to me, and I guess it's probably happened to many people before, but it's never happened to me, so I didn't realize how icky it was until we sit down, and he says, do you mind if I order for you?
That gives you the ick?
Totally gives me the ick.
Why?
Because you took me out, you picked the restaurant, I can't even pick what I'm going to eat?
Oh, see, I think that's sweet.
No, I don't like it. I feel like
okay.
nope. I feel like it's kind of weird and it's kind of controlling. And I have dietary issues to begin with, and I know he
and I
knew
can
about
understand
that.
that.
And he actually did pick a restaurant that had gluten-free options, and that was very thoughtful and nice. But I can order for myself. You know, like it's
See, I
modern day age and time, and I know what I like.
Yeah.
You don't know what I like.
you don't like sushi.
He ordered raw fish. I mean, this thing came to the table, and I thought it was gonna start flopping.
So I guess you won't eat oysters?
I won't. It's slimy and yucky. I mean, if like I had to because there's nothing else, it's icky. If I had to because there's nothing else there, like, I will do it. I will grow up and put on my big girl panties and I will suck down an oyster, but I'm going to vomit in my mouth. It's gonna be a little gross. So I did not like that. That kind of gave me the ick. Like, let me make my own choices and decisions. What if I didn't want seafood for dinner? Mm-hmm. What if I was not in the mood for red sauce because it was going to give Annabelle agita that day? I don't know. You know,
Annabelle. But did he say, would you mind if I order for you?
he did, and I really wanted to say yes. Yes, I would mind, but then that would have ruined the rest of the date. It was already ruined in my mind, but I didn't want to ruin it for both of us because at least I could have been an adult and I could have been cordial about it, which I was. But I didn't like it.
Oh, no. See, I like that.
Yeah.
That's not an ick for me.
I think
Not at all.
it would be different if he was like, I'd like to order like a couple different appetizers. What do you like? And, tried a couple different things. But for him to just totally order for me and my meal and the whole nine. Nope. Didn't like it. I felt like it was kind of a little showboaty,
Okay.
And
That's
to
fair.
top it all off, I had asked him whether or not he was like a wine person because I'm not a wine snob. I don't really know the differences between wine. And it's not really like my first go-to. If it's there,
Right.
I'll drink it. And he's like, no, not at all. And we get to the restaurant and he's like high-fiving the bar manager and the wine connoisseur bar guy. And he knows everybody. And then he's reading through the wine menu and he's picking things out by the year in the vineyard they were made. So like, why didn't you just tell me, yeah, I'm really big into wine. Okay, that's fine. We don't have to agree on everything and
Right.
you can have your wine. And then the biggest ick of all,
Oh.
at the end of that date, he had made a comment about how expensive the bill was. Yeah, I didn't like it.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was really tacky and
Yeah,
like
that's
really in
tacky.
bad taste. And I had offered to pay half, and he told me no. He had picked the restaurant. And he ordered for us.
Yeah, so he knew what he was getting himself into.
Right. So that was it. I was really done at that point.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yep.
I can understand that.
Big, huge ick. But I've gone on some really bad dates, so that probably wasn't even like the worst of them.
What would you say is the worst date you've ever been on?
The worst date. Ooh. So I would say years ago, right after my divorce, I was meeting this guy for a lunch date. Mm-hmm. And I was at work, so I left work and I went to a restaurant. It was only like 7 minutes from the office. It was close. And he had said to me, and I thought it was a joke, you know, when I meet you, if you actually look anything like your pictures, I'm going to kiss you as soon as I see you. And I kind of thought it was odd and I thought it was off. But
why wouldn't you look like your pictures?
I guess maybe people catfish other people, you know, online dating. I don't know. It was the first time that I had ever online dated at that point. So I didn't really know. So I get there and I walk outside and he's standing outside the restaurant and he just goes right in and just kisses my face. And I was so taken aback because that's never happened to me before. And like, bro, I don't even know you. I never met you in person and you just put your face on mine. Like, it was very strange and very awkward.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, all right, that was weird. Maybe we can push it aside. But remember, old me was red flags, carnival. So I'm like, that's okay. Me now, I probably just would turn around and left.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So I walked inside and I sat down with him and we go to order and I probably ordered a Diet Coke or lemonade or something like that. And this dude starts ordering like drinks, like margaritas, martinis. He had 6 drinks over lunch.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And he's like, are you sure you don't want to just have one? And I'm like, no, I'm going back to work. And I'm like, don't you work? And he's like, no, like I own a surf shop. So yeah. And I'm like, oh. So, of course, you know, when you first ask me, like, what do you do for a living? No, I own my own business. You don't want to get too into it.
Right.
Because you don't want somebody to think that.
Is that what he said to you at first? I own my own business?
Right.
Okay.
So I didn't want to pry and him think that I'm all about money or, you know. So I was like, oh, you know, that's great. But, you know, some people also say, like, I'm an entrepreneur, a.k.a. I don't have a job. So I left it at that. So now we're at dinner. We're at lunch. And I'm all dressed up in work clothes.
Right.
Pre-COVID, of course, when you still used to get dressed regularly for work. And he's in, like, jeans and a t-shirt and flip-flops. He's like, I own, like, a surf company, and, like, we do stand-up paddleboard rentals. And I'm like, this is going terrible. This is really bad. So by the end of the date, I know this is absolutely going nowhere. And he goes, I want you to meet my parents.
What? First date?
First date.
No.
Yeah. And I'm like, is that the drinks talking, or is that you? And he was like, oh, my God, like, did I have too many drinks? And I'm like, I don't know. I guess that's a really relative question for you because 6 drinks for you might be your norm, but I don't know. In an hour lunch, that seems a little excessive for me.
Seems like a lot, yeah.
So, you know, I kind of left it off, and he's like, ready to get off the dating apps. I think we should do this.
Whoa.
I didn't even want to go out with him again, and he's like ready to make me his wifey.
Yeah, that's not cool.
So that was probably a really bad date. And then I had found out later through like mutual friends that I didn't even know knew him that he was like really big cokehead. And I dodged a bullet with that one.
Dodged that one. Yeah.
So that was a really bad date. But
I can I have another ick.
Tell me.
Sorry, totally like
go for it.
Okay. So
oh boy.
It's a major like, oh no, I can't do this. You know when you like kiss somebody and you do the whole French kiss thing with the tongue and their tongue is just all over your face.
Oh yeah.
Like
they can't control
no. And it's like all slobbery. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Major ick.
That's gross.
Can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely don't like that. Or if like they go in to kiss you and like your teeth clash.
Oh yeah, that's not fun.
That's like instant send shockwaves through my body, almost like nails on a chalkboard.
Yes.
Yes. It's a terrible, terrible feeling. And then it's like, do you laugh? Do you try again? Do you run? Like, what do you do after that moment? Because I'm kind of over it.
I don't know that there's really a good way to.
Is there any coming back from that? I feel like there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah. So I do have some other interesting dating stories that may not be fully icky, but they're pretty interesting.
I like interesting dating stories.
All right. So, one of the really good ones was one of the first guys that I dated after my divorce. I was not ready for anything serious.
Understandably so.
I had explained that to him, and he told me he was in the same boat. He was also going through divorce. He also had one child. And I was happy that we were kind of on the same boat.
Right.
You know? So we had been together a couple months, and my birthday was coming up. And so we had plans to go away for my birthday. And he calls me and he's like, babe, I am so sorry. He's like, but I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm like, okay, well, what's going on? And he's like, my son's mother is being rushed to the hospital. She's having her gallbladder removed, and I have to take care of my son. I'm like, oh my God, absolutely.
100%.
Go do what you need to do. Like, no need to apologize. We'll reschedule. We won't reschedule. Whatever you need, like, take care of that. I hope she's okay. And he's like, thanks for being so cool about it. I'm like, yeah, no problem. So a few months later, we have plans. He tells me we need to reschedule. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. Everything all right? He's like, yeah, my son's mom is having her gallbladder removed.
Stop.
I'm like, how many gallbladders does this woman have? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know. Like, is she the bionic woman? Does she have, like, multiple gallbladders? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, did you forget? And he's like, forget what? I'm like, when you canceled on me for my birthday, you canceled on me because she was having her gallbladder removed. And he's like, oh, no. He's like, so I never told you what happened? He's like, it turned out it wasn't her gallbladder. It was actually her appendix.
Oh. Okay.
So I'm like, okay. So now, like, you know, the antennas are up.
Yeah.
The red flags are out. 100%. I know something is up, but I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So then I get a call.
Oh, God.
That says, hi, is this Lina? I'm like, yeah, who's this? She's like, this is so-and-so's wife. I was like, okay. Now, I know he's married and going through a divorce because I was married and going through a divorce. Mm-hmm. But I was living on my own full nine. So what I came to find out, he was mirroring everything I was saying. So if I said I had moved out, I'm moving out too. I filed, I also filed. So he was just kind of mirroring what I was saying. Turns out it was his actual wife. And the 2 times that he had canceled on me when she was in the hospital was because she was having miscarriages because they were actively trying to have a baby.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That is terrible.
It was pretty terrible.
Oh my God.
So her and I actually got together.
Oh God. Of course you did.
And
Why
we met
wouldn't
up.
you have?
Yep. And we exchanged everything. We talked about everything. And I'll never forget the next day she calls me up and she's like, I have to tell you what happened last night. And I'm like, what? She's like, so we're laying in bed. And I'm like, you're laying in bed with this man after I told you? But whatever, to each their own. You do what you need to do, boo. So we're laying in bed and I tell him to rub my feet. And he tells me no. She's like, so I lean over and I grab the dog's bone and I crack him over the head with it. And I was like, God. You have a fucking girlfriend, rub my fucking feet. And I was like, huh, what do you do? She's like, rub my fucking feet. And I was like, okay. So I'm like, I need to ask you a question. I'm like, because he told me this story about you and I didn't fully believe it. And she's like, well, what's up? She's like, he has a scar on his palm. Mm-hmm. And I asked him how he got the scar on his palm. And he told me that you stabbed him with a knife. And so that's what he told me when, you know, I asked him, like, what happened between you two? And he told me you were crazy. And he showed that as proof. You know, she stabbed me in my palm. She's like, oh, is that what he told you, huh?
Oh, God.
I'm like, yeah. She's like, you want to know the real story? I'm like, yeah. So she tells me he went out with his buddies to the bar.
Yeah.
And he comes home drunk. It's like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And he walks in the house with a couple of his friends in the middle of the night, wakes her up out of bed.
Oh, no.
And tells her to make them all sandwiches.
Oh, I would have backhand him.
Oh. So she proceeds to take all of the deli meat out of the fridge, lays out all the cold cuts. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? She makes them all sandwiches. Hands one to each of the guys.
Did she poison anybody?
When she hands one to him, he puts his hand out to take the plate. And she takes the knife and puts it right through his hand.
Oh my God.
So he wasn't lying when he told me that she stabbed him in the hand. He also didn't tell me the full story. Not that I think anything really warrants you to get stabbed in the hand. I do think what he did was pretty dick. But at that point, I knew that I was dealing with somebody that was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
But I knew that he was also crazy too, because he was also actively trying to have another baby with this woman. Mm-hmm. So now I was like fearful for my life.
I would have been too.
And he had also told me that she was like doing the books for her mobbed up family. So now I'm like, great, I'm going to die. So I was a little scared. But the events that proceeded over the next few weeks after that, we ended up going on vacations and stuff together and family parties. They attended family parties and events and got to know my parents and the whole nine. So it was a thing. We haven't spoken in years.
That's just weird.
Yeah. I think her goal was let me befriend the mistress, who was unbeknownst to me, the mistress. Let me befriend the mistress so she'll stay away from my husband. And I think mine was let me befriend the wife so she doesn't know, so she knows that I'm not a threat and she doesn't kill me.
I don't want to die.
Yeah. So that was a really interesting one that I went through.
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
I think that was probably the most intense one. But then I had another really coincidental one. So the guy with the fingernails.
Yes, yes.
So after that did not work out, my cousin and I had gone to a concert together. And we're at the concert, and she knows the bartender at the venue.
Okay.
And so the bartender tells her, hey, one of the other moms from town is here. Go say hi to her. So she grabs me, and she's like, oh, you have to come say hi to my friend. You know, she really reminds me a lot of you. You guys actually kind of look alike. And I'm like, okay.
Oh.
So we walk over, and this is gorgeous girl. And she's like, you know, hey, so-and-so, this is my cousin Lina. Lina, you know, this is my friend. And she's like, and this is our friend's boyfriend. She's like, I can't remember his name. So I whisper to my cousin, I'm like, his name is blah, blah, blah. And my cousin looks at me and she's like,
How do you
know? And I'm like, because we dated. And my cousin's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. So now I see the look on his face. He sees me. I see him. He is freaking out.
Right.
So now I'm uncomfortable because he could have just been cool about it and we could have laughed about it.
Sure.
And it could have just been a funny thing. Like, oh, that's a really funny story. Yeah, we went out twice and no big deal. He did not. He got really weird. I felt weird about it.
Right.
I turned around to my cousin. I was like, can we just go back to the bar? And she's like, yeah, no problem. So we leave. We go back to the bar. 5 minutes later, he walks by staring at me. I mean, like, intent staring at me. So my cousin's like, what was that about? I'm like, I have no idea. And she's like, what happened between the two of you? I'm like, honestly, we went on 2, maybe 3 dates. I'm like, it was really weird for me. He introduced me to his parents. He introduced me to his kid. He had really long fingernails. I was out. I'm like, that's really weird. And I'm like, nothing ever happened between the two of us. Like, that was it. I'm like, it should have been a really funny story for him to be like, wow, what a small world. Yeah, we had gone on a couple dates a while back. That's crazy. But that didn't happen. She's like, but he's like staring at you now. I'm like, I know it's really uncomfortable. So a couple hours later, like right before the end of the concert, he comes back over and he grabs my ass as he's walking by me.
Did you punch him?
I put my hands up in the air and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And I was like, that's not cool, man. Because I didn't want the girlfriend or anybody else to think that I initiated or I did anything. And my cousin saw it happen. So my cousin's like, that's it. I'm going to tell her. And I'm like, you do what you need to do. Like, that's your friend. So she pulls her aside. They go into the bathroom together. She tells her the story, gives the girl my phone number.
Oh, God.
So now I'm driving home from the concert and she's texting me while she's in the car with him. And she's like, I'm in the car with him right now. He has no idea that I'm talking to you. You need to tell me what happened. And I'm like, listen, I said, I went on 3 dates max with him. I said, it was really weird. I said, we went out on his boat. He introduced me to his parents. He introduced me to his daughter. And she's like, you met his parents? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, you met his daughter? I'm like, I did. And she's like, he told me he's never introduced another girl to his parents or his daughter.
Oh.
And I was like, listen, I said, I'm telling you right now, it was not that serious. We never slept together. It was 3 dates. That was it. Like, nothing.
Right.
I haven't spoken to him since. I'm the one who broke things off. She's like, when did you break things off? So we talked about timeline. And it was right around the same time that I had stopped talking to him that she started talking to him. So there may or may not have been overlap. Could have gone either way. So turns out they worked things out. They're still together to this day. I actually just met my cousin who's friends with her. We just went out for coffee today.
Yep.
Well, she had coffee. I didn't
because you don't like coffee.
I don't like coffee. So they're still together. Apparently he's paying for her divorce and they're out doing all of the fun things together in life and sledding up in
Vernon or wherever.
Wherever it is and with their kids and they're one big happy family.
Hey, more power to them.
But yeah, that was like a really weird.
That is weird.
Isn't that like a super awkward story?
Yeah, you get yourself tangled up in the weirdest things.
I really do. And like, I don't know, is it me?
Yes.
It is me.
It is you because
I was hoping it wasn't me.
I don't get tangled up in those kinds of things.
God damn it. I was really hoping it was.
But it makes for great stories.
Right? I feel like this is pretty good stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
Because whenever I tell these stories, people are like, oh, tell me more. And they like have the popcorn out, you know? Like that
Like the
popcorn
meme.
moment. The meme. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like, I'm here for this. And I'm like, I don't even know how this is my life. Like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
You know?
The craziest date. I have an ex, and our first date, we went out to dinner, and I pulled in the parking lot, and we were on the phone. He was like, "Oh, I just saw your truck go by." I'm like, "I never told you what kind of truck I drive."
Ooh.
He's like, "Yeah, you do. You said you drove an Xterra," which I did at the time, drive an
Yeah.
Xterra. I'm like, "I never told you that."
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, "Yeah, I just saw you pull in." I'm like, "Dude, you're freaking creepy."
That is really weird.
Yeah, that was like the
creepiest thing that
Yeah,
happened?
like I have nothing. Like my stories are like nothing compared to yours.
Why does this happen to me then?
Because you're nuts. You attract the crazy.
I feel like it's not me, though. I feel like I'm not nuts. I don't know.
Oh, did you hear the snowplow just go by?
I did. It was really loud. It almost sounded like Annabelle, to be honest with you. It was loud. Did it even stop snowing?
I have no idea.
Yeah. I have another good one for you.
Oh, okay. Enlighten me.
So there's this guy. We also met online. We had gone out on a bunch of dates, totally hitting it off, having a great time. And I was at the beach with one of my girlfriends and had been texting him from the beach and sending pictures, you know, chit-chatting, whatever. And that night I was going out, and I had invited him out with me and my friends. And he told me he really wasn't feeling that well. He was just going to go home and relax. So I know that whenever he wasn't feeling well, he wouldn't eat.
Right.
So I figured I would stop and pick him up some chicken soup, be nice, go to his place, drop it off, see if he needed anything before I went out for the night. Which is exactly what I did. So I show up at his door, and I knock on his door, and he opens the door, and he does not look happy to see me.
Oh no.
So total straight-faced, hi. I'm like, hi.
Did he look sick?
He didn't look great, but he would usually greet me with like a hug or a
Right.
kiss. And if I'm surprising him, like a smile, maybe.
Yeah.
I got nothing. I got hi. So I'm like, hi. He's like, what are you doing here? So now I'm like, well, I wanted to bring you some chicken soup because you said you weren't feeling well. So he extends his hand to take the bag, and he's like, thanks. So now I'm thinking there's another woman upstairs.
Yeah,
right?
I would have went there too.
There's definitely another woman in the house. So he's like, you look nice. I'm like, well, thanks. You know, I'm going out tonight. And he's like, yeah, you mentioned it. And I was like, yeah, it was really awkward.
Yeah.
So he goes, do you want to come in? So of course I want to come in, right? Because now I'm like, there's a woman in the house.
Yes, I want to
definitely
come
coming
in.
in. So I'm like, oh, actually, if I could use the bathroom, that'd be great. So he's like, be my guest.
Oh.
Still no hug, still no kiss. So cold. So I walk inside. I go upstairs, use the bathroom, peek in the bedroom, you know, look around. There's nobody there.
Okay.
So I go to the bathroom, and still weird. I'm like, okay, well, thanks. I'm like, do you need anything? He's like, no. Have fun tonight.
So weird.
I'm like, okay, thanks. Still doesn't give me a hug or a kiss. So I'm like, all right, feel better. If you need anything, let me know.
Right.
So I was driving in the car, and I get a text message from him. And so I open up the text message, and it says, I can't believe you would bring me leftovers from a date with another man. I'm like, what is he talking about? So I text him back, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I called the restaurant where you said you got the soup from, and I told them that I was the guy with you for dinner and that I left my phone there and if they could check the table, and they confirmed that you were there with another man. So now I'm like, this dude's batshit crazy, because I most
Right.
certainly was not. So then I sent him back a text message and said, if you called the restaurant, then you know that this is the phone number, and here's the time when I called them when I placed the to-go order. And I took a screenshot of the call log.
Right.
And then I sent him a picture of the to-go order receipt that
Did it
shows
say-
that I just ordered soup and just paid for soup.
And does it say to go on
Yes,
the receipt?
it says to-go order.
Yeah.
And it has my name.
Yeah.
And it has the order, which was only soup.
Right.
And the price. And I
Right.
sent him a picture of it. And I was like, but now, you know, you can lose my fucking number because I'm done. Like,
Right.
don't ever text me again. He's like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, you're the fucking soup Nazi, like from Seinfeld. And I'm like, no soup for you. I'm like, so he forever became the soup Nazi after that.
Yeah.
So I was like, that's it. We're not going to see each other. We're not going to see each other. He begged and begged and begged and begged. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he would leave roses at my door, and he would leave me cards and all sorts of stuff. And he even added me to his BJ's membership and left me a note that said, I added you to my BJ's membership. Just go to BJ's and get your picture taken to get your card. Like, he was really trying to make up for it.
Yeah.
So one day he says, like, you know, I just want to see you. I just want to see you. Like, can we just talk? So I said, fine, come pick me up. So he picks me up, and I'm like, where are we going? And he's like, well, I need to run to Whole Foods to grab some stuff. So I said, all right. So we're driving over to the store, and as we're driving there, I'm just kind of like asking him what's going on, and, you know, just trying to play it cool, figure out where he's at. So he starts telling me how he needs to call his insurance company. And I'm like, okay, like your health insurance? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, why? What's the big deal? And he's like, no, I'm just having an issue with my ex's insurance. And I'm like, what do you mean? And so he's telling me about, like, some of the claims aren't being processed, and, you know, he's having trouble, and she hasn't paid him because she's been paying him for the cost of her insurance. So I turn around, I'm like, your ex can't be on your insurance.
Right, not unless you're married.
Right. Clearly, he didn't know that.
Oh, no.
He's still married.
What's with you and marrying people?
I don't know. I mean, they were legitimately not together. They were not living together. I had been to his apartment many times.
Right,
they were legitimately not together. But he had told me they were divorced, and they were not. So at that point, I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
But believe it or not, we actually became really good friends after that.
Of course you did.
Yeah. So a couple times ago when I was in Florida and I was there with my parents and everything, we all met up and we all got together and had dinner together and everything.
That's so wild.
Yeah. And so we've been friends ever since that happened. I was like, listen, I actually really like you as a person. And he had a son, I have a daughter, and the kids would hang out.
Right.
And, you know, so I legitimately enjoyed hanging out with him as a friend. He was a lot of fun. I was just like, you are just way too batshit crazy for me to date. So we totally agreed. And he was like, yeah. He's like, I have way too many issues to actually be in a relationship. And I was like, all right, like, we can be friends, but that's it. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
So that's my crazy soup Nazi story. You try to do something nice for somebody and it backfires in your face.
Don't you hate that?
It's the worst. Literally, you have good intentions and somehow you end up being the bad person.
Always.
Yeah.
It never fails.
Yeah. We should just be bitches. Just be mean. That's too hard. It's too hard to be mean to
I was going to
people.
say, it's just not in my DNA to be mean to somebody.
I feel like it's so much easier just to be kind and be nice to people. Plus, they also say it takes more face muscles to frown than it does to smile.
Does it really?
Yeah, it's like
heard
a
that.
scientific fact that to frown, it takes more face muscles. So I would rather not do that and make sure everything stays like up and taut.
Taut.
Yeah, taut. Because, you know, I'm starting to feel like when I smile and when I laugh, you can like see my crow's feet.
Yeah, but you know what that's also a sign of? A good life.
I don't want people to know about my life is like unless I tell them. I don't want you to see it in my face. Maybe I had a rough life. Maybe I grew up in like, you know, the hard knocks. I don't know. I don't want you to know until I tell you.
Okay.
You know? You ever somebody meet you and they're like, hi, it's really nice to meet you. I'm like, how do you know? How do you know it's nice to meet me? You don't know me. No?
You need help.
That's why I'm here. Isn't this like our therapy session where we get together once a week and we talk about things and you make me feel better and then you tell me your crazy stories and I feel better about my life?
But your crazy definitely outweighs my crazy.
I know, this is why I watch reality TV.
Do you have any other icks you would like to add to your ick list?
I have a lot of icks. I'm trying to think of what icks would be because they usually come up in the moment.
Yeah, it's hard
They're
to
not
just...
pre-thought icks like a pet peeve.
Yeah.
You know? They put me on the spot.
No pressure.
None. I feel none.
You feel it all.
All the pressure. I feel like a linebacker with the weight of the world on my shoulders.
Which is convenient because it is football playoff season.
Oh yeah, when's the Super Bowl?
Not February 2nd.
Apparently not. What the fuck asked me if I'm having a Super Bowl party? Do you even know me? Fucking crazy.
Wait, you can't just say... So, we get a text message from my boyfriend saying, oh, is Lina having a Super Bowl party? So I asked her, I'm like, hey, are you having a Super Bowl party?
And I said, what kind of party animal does he think I am?
And then you continued to say, I don't even know when the Super Bowl is.
True story. What she said. That's what I said.
So I text my boyfriend back. I'm like, she doesn't even know when the Super Bowl is.
Yep.
So I would think that's a no.
It's probably a no. Yeah. I mean, I can have one. Do you guys want to come?
I'll ask him if he wants to come.
Okay.
Although, actually, you know what? Super Bowl is February 9th. That's not going to work for us.
Because you're going to be getting ready to leave.
Yeah.
Yep. You're going to have things to do.
Lots of things to do.
Yep.
Lots of loose ends to tie up.
I have a feeling I will end up at...
A bar somewhere.
Yes. With lots of people that...
Don't speak English.
Yes. Yep. Or speak English with a very thick accent. It'll be great. Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if you'll find any icks there.
Ooh, I'm sure I might. But I won't be, like, romantically looking for somebody.
This is true.
So I may find icks for other people. Like when two people are together and I see something happen, I'm like, ugh, how could she put up with that? That's so gross. Like chewing with your mouth open.
Ugh.
That would ick me out.
But is
right
that
from the
an
get-go.
ick or is that a pet peeve?
I think that's probably more of a pet peeve.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But if I saw somebody else doing that, I would totally be grossed out.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Or if I saw somebody else's partner, like flirting with somebody else while they were in the bathroom or not paying attention, that would not make me happy.
Yeah.
Would you say something?
Oh, absolutely.
You would go up? What if it was people you didn't know?
No, I would say something to my friend. Be like, I would be like, just so you know,
Yeah.
this is what you just missed.
But let's say we're all out to eat together at a bar or out and about, and there's two people sitting at another table or at the bar, and you know they're making out. They're clearly there together, and the woman gets up and goes into the bathroom. And while she goes into the bathroom, he walks over to another woman at the bar. And
Oh, no, I would not get involved.
you wouldn't
in
get
that.
involved.
No.
Okay. So only if it's somebody that you knew.
Oh, yeah. If it was somebody I knew, absolutely. But some random person, no, absolutely not.
Have you ever had to tell somebody that you know that their partner was being inappropriate or hitting on you, or you found out that they did something with somebody else? And how did that go? Did they believe you?
No, I never was in that position. Something tells me you have been.
Oh, yes. And because it couldn't just be a regular position with like just a regular friend, it had to be my boss at work.
Oh,
Yeah. So, of course, everything in Lina Land is elevated.
of course.
So, one of my old bosses decides she is going to start sleeping with one of the vendors, contractors. So, it's basically a company that was consulting for our company. And she took a liking to the consultant. And they started sleeping together. And she was pretty open with me. We were pretty close. She shared with me. So she told me, hey, Lina, you're a really great judge of character. I would just like for you to go to lunch with him, totally business related, since he was consulting, and just kind of get a feel for him and tell me what you think about him. So I said, okay. So we went to lunch together and we talked about the project that he was helping us on, and it was totally professional. And towards the end of the lunch, he kind of started asking me about my personal life, which could go either way at that point, because
Sure.
we had kind of built a rapport. And eventually he kind of started asking me, so do you live alone?
Why is that any of his business?
Yeah, it was really weird.
Yeah.
So I said, no, I have a daughter and she lives with me. And he's like, well, what happens when things break down in the house? Like, you don't have a man around to help you fix them?
That's inappropriate.
So now I'm getting really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to change the topic and change the subject, and I go to the bathroom and I come back. So we're getting ready to leave, and he basically gives me his phone number and says, well, here's my phone number. If you ever need anything, whether business-wise or personal, I'd be more than happy to come and help you with anything you
Oh.
need.
That was very nice of him.
So nice of him. So I go back, and my boss is like, so how did it go? And I was like, nope. She's like, what do you mean no? I was like, no, I am not getting a good feeling. And she's like, well, why? What happened? I'm like, he gave me his number. And she's like, oh, like his work number? I'm like, I don't know his number. And she's like, well, let me see. She looks at the phone number, and she starts crying.
It was his personal number.
It was his personal number that he didn't give her for 2 months. Gave me on the first date. First date. I say
First
first date.
date. It wasn't even a date.
It was the first time that I met him for
Right.
a business lunch.
Right.
And she's crying. So I'm like, listen, I don't want the number.
Yeah, of course not.
It has nothing to do with me. I don't want any part of this. I said, you asked me to do this. I did what you asked me to do.
100%.
I just want you to know that's what happened. Do you know everything changed between her and I?
Because now she thought that you were trying to take her man.
When I did exactly what she asked me to do. I was not interested in this man at all. I
Yeah.
would never, first of all, I would have never slept with a consultant. I would have never done that. Second of all, I would have never slept with somebody my boss is sleeping with, because that's just a terrible, I know I say I like terrible idea. I wouldn't sleep with the person my boss is sleeping with. I think I know better than that. There's
Right.
a difference between crazy and stupid.
Yes.
Right? I am one, I am not the other.
Yes.
Let's make that clear. She totally got so offended by the situation, and instead of directing her anger and frustration at him where it should have been,
Right.
she directed it towards me.
Yeah, that is not fair to you.
So within a couple weeks, I had actually transferred to a different department at work, and she had actually left the company.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That's-
That went sideways quick.
Yeah, that's a whole nother level of batshit crazy.
And we never spoke again. Her and I were really close. Like when I went through my divorce, she actually came to my house and helped me paint and brought me a housewarming gift and everything. And that's how close we were. I had been to her apartment when she moved in. I helped her move in, the whole nine. And that was it. We never spoke again.
That's an ick.
Yep. That was pretty bad.
That's an ick, and you weren't even romantically involved with her. And
No.
she's an ick.
Yeah. I even texted her for her birthday the first year following that. Never got a response. I'm like, you know what? I'm done.
Yeah, that's,
I
at that
didn't
point,
do anything wrong.
No, you did exactly what she asked you to do.
And that's girl code.
Yeah.
Like something happened. I'm going to come to you and I'm going to be honest. And I'm going to tell you what happened. And that's what you're going to do in return.
Yeah, that's not right.
You know? So it kind of sucks because it felt like I lost a friend. And I also, I don't want to say like I lost my job, but I switched departments. I literally got a new position at work in a completely different building.
Because of this
in a different
situation.
town because of that situation. It was so
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not right.
So I'm like, I don't need to make any more friends at work. I'm good.
We're not going to mix business and pleasure anymore.
No. See, and that's why I love everyone on my team is a man. We have no drama. Zero drama. The only drama is if they have drama with their women and they come to me and they're like, can I get a female perspective? And I'm like, shoot. You know, yes, I got you. Yes. But it's great because I don't have to ever deal with that anymore.
No, that's good. Yeah, that's not fun.
Yeah. Not a good place to be. I feel like if you were to come to me and tell me that my boyfriend said or did something inappropriate, we would both go together and chop his balls off together.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I would never be like, well, you probably wanted it, or, you know,
Yeah.
you called it upon yourself. I would never think that.
No.
You know? What a shitty thing. She was
Yeah.
a shitty friend. Shitty boss.
Just goes to show you that she wasn't a real friend.
Exactly. You know, and that's the thing, like, when life throws things at you like that, sometimes it's not to show you who your friends are. Sometimes it's to show you who are not your friends.
Yeah, who your friends are not.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel like I learned that lesson really hard with my divorce.
Yeah.
So, I used to be a really private person. I would never air my dirty laundry.
Yeah.
And when I was going through my divorce, that's exactly what I did. I felt like relationship issues are between two people. And especially when you're going through something as sensitive as a divorce, and especially when there are children involved, those are not things that you share with your closest 4,000 friends on social media.
Right.
And that's what my ex-husband was doing. He was posting things on social media
Yeah, that's not right.
about our divorce. So I chose to remain silent. And because I chose to remain silent, I apparently looked guilty because I wasn't telling my side of the story when I didn't think it was anybody's business what was happening in our marriage or our relationship. And I lost a lot of friends that way. And throughout the years, as things kind of unfolded and they saw the truth and it started to come out and they started to realize who he is and what he had done, they tried to come back. And so I would get friend requests from people who had unfriended me, and I would get messages from people apologizing to me. And it was like, listen, I accept your apology, but I'll never be your friend again.
Yeah,
I have no
you
reason
can't.
to allow you access to my life at this point when you didn't help me in my darkest moment. You turned on me.
Yeah.
And you chose to believe somebody simply because I didn't want to share my story with you.
Right.
You know?
When it's nobody's business but yours.
Exactly. So now I've kind of gotten to the point where I don't always need to be the bigger person. I don't always need to forgive everybody. And I don't always need to keep quiet. So now if I want to tell my story, nobody's going to silence me. Nobody's going to control my narrative. Now I'm going to tell it.
Yeah. When you're ready to tell it, you tell your story how you want it to be heard.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm never going to let anybody silence me anymore.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Well, we kind of jumped around a little bit there.
Yeah.
I'm not
That's
really
all right.
sure how we got from Icks to dating stories with mobbed up wives who put knives through palms. I thought they'd kill me.
That was wild.
A true story. My lips to God's ears. That happened.
I believe you.
Yeah. That was crazy.
Just goes to show we can start with one idea and end on a totally different one.
And it also goes to show that you may never really know a person, which is absolutely terrifying.
Oh yeah.
Right?
100%.
10 years with my ex-husband, had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
You know, at the end, all the lies came out, and it was like, oh my God, I was conned.
What just happened?
Right?
Yeah. That's not fun.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody else has had a similar experience, and if you want to share something that you've been through, if you have an ick, if you have a really bad dating story, if you have been conned in the past, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah. You know how to
Reach
get
out
a
to
hold of
us.
us. We're on TikTok at
2 voices one vibe.
We are on Instagram at
Two voices, one vibe.
and you can email us at
Two voices, one vibe.
at gmail.com. But if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll pop that up on the screen.
Make it easy for you.
Yeah, and if you're listening to us on any one of the places you get your podcast, it'll be in the show notes, so you can find all that information.
And thanks for listening to us.
Nonsense.
Yeah, we enjoy being able to share our crazy stories with our listeners, with our viewers, and hopefully making some of you feel that you are not alone in your crazy lives. We have them too.
On that note, we will see you in the next episode.
Until next time, this is Two Voices.
One vibe.
Bye.